With the Anthony Davis trade talks increasing day by day, it will only be a matter of time until he takes his talents elsewhere, with the LA Lakers as his preferred destination. With no intention of signing an extension with the Pelicans, a team where he has no chance in contending for a title, the soon-to-be 26-year-old big man will be a game changer for the entire NBA. How's it going, guys? My name's Wilson. It's been a terrible 2 weeks for New Orleans sports fans, with the Saints being robbed on an awful call that cost them a trip to the Super Bowl, and now losing superstar Anthony Davis just adds to the pain. It will be up to Magic Johnson to work his magic in making an aggressive push to acquire Davis prior to the February 7th trade deadline. New Orleans, however, won't make this situation too easy, with the Celtics also considered a serious threat in the AD sweepstakes after Kyrie Irving becomes a free agent on July 1st. It's not until then that Boston will be able to officially get Davis in a trade where they can offer a better package than the Lakers. Over Davis's 6.5 seasons with the franchise, having averages of 24 points, 10.6 rebounds, and 2.4 block shots in 451 games so far, he's already established himself as a future Hall of Famer. The 5-time All-Star has done everything he could for the franchise, playing his heart out, carrying the team on his shoulders, but the Pelicans have terribly failed Davis, not getting him any help or giving good reasons for him to stay. A similar situation occurred almost 8 years ago when superstar point guard Chris Paul was supposed to be traded to the Lakers right after the lockout, until David Stern stepped in and vetoed the trade. Paul was frustrated with the lack of success. While most people remember his 07-08 season, leading his team to 56 wins, advancing to the semis, but everything went downhill from there, with his team nowhere close to competing amongst the best in the West. Paul didn't want to rebuild and wanted to contend after establishing himself as a superstar, was then traded to the Clippers, where New Orleans went 21-45 overall after Paul left, winning the lottery, landing the #1 pick, selecting Anthony Davis, the most hyped prospect since LeBron, viewed as a franchise player with insane potential as a game changer. Davis did not disappoint, already established himself as a top 7 player by his 3rd season, helping New Orleans win 45 games as the 8th seed, only to get swept by Golden State in the first round. The future seemed bright for AD in New Orleans, fully committed in doing whatever he can to help the team win, signed a 5-year $145 million extension in the summer of 2015, a moment of celebration for the Pelicans franchise. The team also snatched Alvin Gentry away from the champion Warriors to coach AD. That was really when time began to tick for GM Dell Debs and the entire organization to prove why Davis should spend his prime years and beyond in New Orleans. After making the playoffs, the team went a terrible 30-52 the following year and 34-48 in the 2016-17 season, had some success last season, and now slipping further and further away from the playoff picture with no promising signs already in his 7th season. A bunch of poor decisions and a lack of supporting cast only gave Davis more reasons to leave. Since his draft days when New Orleans selected Austin Rivers 10th overall was supposed to be the ideal point guard for AD, but Rivers never developed into a quality player the Pelicans hoped, was traded after 3 seasons filled with injuries, signed Tariq Evans to a 4-year $44 million deal in 2013. Drew Holiday, who was part of the Nerlens Noel trade, was a good move, but him, Eric Gordon, and Tariq Evans all needed the ball in their hands, was a horrible mix together. In 2015, the team decided to bring back Omir Asad and Alexis Adjacent, 2 traditional centers, with the league quickly moving away from back-to-the-basket bigs, committing $58 million to Asad over 5 seasons, and Adjacent $20 million over 4 years, a huge waste where the team eventually traded both players. The team even gave up on former head coach Monty Williams, despite giving him a heads up to make the playoffs or lose your job. He took the team to the postseason in 2015, but they fired him anyway. A devastating blow for AD, where Monty was an excellent mentor and a strong leader who helped Davis grow not only as a basketball player, but as a person. After AD's 4th season, New Orleans still found themselves high in the lottery, selecting Buddy Hield 6th overall, but had a struggling rookie season, so the team eventually traded him away his 2nd year. Now flourishing with the Kings averaging over 20 points a game as one of the best 3-point shooters the Pelicans could use right now. That same summer in 2016, with the NBA's massive TV deal, the team spent their dollars signing Solomon Hill to a 4-year $48 $48 million contract, who's a below-average NBA player, Etuan Moore getting a 4-year $34 mil, and giving Langston Galloway 2 years $10.6 mil, and trying to surround Davis with reliable pieces, but the team simply got nothing from them, a complete waste of a combined $93 million, where Davis was putting up video game numbers time after time, but the lack of dependable role players had the team losing many games. Traded Hill, Evans, Galloway, 2 2017 draft picks for DeMarcus Cousins and Almir Caspi, which looked like an absolute steal at the time. Boogie was the ideal big man to pair with Davis. Although the team failed to make the playoffs that year, the future seemed bright, especially with Holiday resurrecting himself after missing many games from 2013 to 17 with injuries. New Orleans gave him a 5-year worth $131 million, where he obviously wasn't a max player, but the team had to offer him the max in order to keep him, knowing they had no way in signing anyone else to replace him. The duo of AD and Boogie proved to work, with both guys dominating opponents, where the team went 27 and 21 overall, fighting for playoff position, but sadly, Cousins blew out his Achilles on January 26, 2018. New Orleans acquired Nikola Mirotic at the expense of a first-round pick, which turned out to be Chandler Hutchinson, going 21 and 13 after Cousins' injury, swept Portland in the first round before losing to Golden State in 5. While Cousins was expected to be back in New Orleans, they were unsure about committing major money to him and passed it up. So did the other 28 teams. Eventually, Cousins signed with Golden State. If New Orleans didn't trade for Cousins in the first place, Buddy Hield would have been an exceptional role player, where the team would be in the playoff picture right now. If the Pelicans would have committed to Cousins, where the two bigs said they enjoy playing with each other, that alone might be able to convince AD to stay even longer. Having another star player by his side, Davis gave hints before the season started by firing his longtime agent, a New Orleans native himself, and signed with Clutch Sports, hired Rich Paul, LeBron's longtime friend, even bought a $7.5 million mansion in Cali, 90 minutes away from Staples Center, which made Pelicans fans more nervous, and now it's only a matter of time he's out. Dell Demps failed to find a true replacement for Rondo, also didn't sign a useful small forward, started Wesley Johnson early on, who's not a useful player, even with Davis now arguably a top 5 player in the game, averaging over 29 and 13, the team was still losing many games. Unable to become a free agent until the summer of 2020, Davis said he would take legacy over money. After posting 30 points and 20 rebounds after a loss, reportedly went out to dinner with LeBron after a Friday night game in LA. As low-key and quiet a superstar there is, Davis made his intentions clear on January 28, 2019. Won't sign an extension this summer and wants to be traded now. With the combination of failed signings and a lack of talent to build a winning team, there is simply nothing New Orleans can do. Just like how the Timberwolves failed to surround the right talents around KG, Garnett stuck around until he was 31. Fortunately, AD's smart enough to realize he doesn't want to waste his prime years on a losing franchise who won't attract big-name free agents. He's doing what any star player would do that wants to win. Playing in an arena with half-empty seats, millions of fans would pay big bucks to watch Anthony Davis play. No matter where Davis signs next, every all-time great will always be viewed upon how many championships they win, which is why great players on bad teams are often forgotten. Dell Demps, who's been around for the entire Davis era, was the one mainly responsible for the failures of the franchise. I have a feeling he'd probably be fired soon. From paying Asic, Adjacent, and Salomon Hill big money to firing beloved coach Monty Williams, he was also the one that traded Chris Paul, where former Commissioner David Stern called him a lousy GM. Davis's $50,000 fine from the league for public trade demands will be something he'll laugh off, but it won't be easy for New Orleans to trade him right away, as they might keep him until the summer to find all the best possible options in return. Davis, who has the chance to become the best player in the 2020s decade, will have an extremely bright future ahead, with his decision to leave New Orleans a defining point in his career, where he has a chance to win multiple championships, a likely future MVP, and can potentially go down as a top 2 power forward the game has ever seen. Where do you guys see Anthony Davis play next? How many titles will he win when it's all said and done? Can he become a top 15 player all time? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching this video. I talk NBA comparisons, amazing storylines, NBA history, and anything basketball that will interest you. If you love the NBA, subscribe for more content, more great stuff coming soon. See you next time.